Welcome back, folks. As you can see, the Halloween mission I have completely done, along with every mission in Fishing Planet. So today we're going to kind of quickly talk about the items and the missions and the event overview as we start out. I know there's going to be a couple people that say this is uh, too tough to do. You can't do it without bait coins or buying the DLC. You absolutely can, guys. So if you didn't know, you can get the lures, and we did it in a live stream so you guys can see it if you want to go back. And I have a video out on it in that playlist where you go to the pumpkins and tombstones. And yes, the new lures and stuff are in there. We did get some of them. They're just rare, guys. With that being said, too, if you're low level and you're complaining about the lakes being too high, for example, like weeping willows or blue crab, don't worry, guys. It's not, the game isn't there to screw you. This, I've never seen Fishing Planet really have an event for less than 2 years. This is the first year of this event. In fact, the last Halloween event was 3 or 4 years that they ran it, and you could still do part of it this year, just not the missions. So, with that being said, too, and if you are low level, you can go. There's still a lot of these little places you can go to. My wife made a level 29 in 3 days with no premium or DLCs, so you can do it pretty easily. And all she did was listen to what I told her for farming, and we have them videos on the channel as well. So you could go to a place, catch some fish while you're there, get your pumpkins and tombstones. But anyway, I just want to put that out there right away. Yes, it is easier if you have bait coins or buy the DLC, but it's definitely not impossible without it. All right, so with that being said, we're gonna go over here to the missions because we're gonna talk about the missions here quick. So, this new event, there's some things I really like about it, guys. It gave us a lot more fish than what we had, and it brought back the old ones, which is really cool because, as you guys know, the one event that I wish they would bring back again is decorated fish for Christmas, because a lot of people didn't get to do that one. I think that was only up like 2 years. I think that's the shortest one they've ever done, the decorated Christmas event, which was really cool. So hopefully they bring that back. If you guys agree, let me know down in the comments for those of you guys who did the decorated fish, the old school one. But with that being said, with this event, we did get some really cool new fish. A lot of missions. I think this is probably the most missions in one event I've seen ever or in a long time. So on that scale, it's like a 10 out of 10. Uh, some of the missions themselves, as we'll go through them here, some of them were, pretty easy. Like this one, pretty easy. And I like having some easy ones and some hard ones. For example, this is a good way to get some of the Halloween candy bait. Was this the item one? And some of these item ones were just kind of cool. They took a little bit of time. And as we go down, you can see the item ones that gave you dead mice, the Druid Fire, which gave you the Hell's Bells, Ringer, which we'll talk about if I remember. And on the Monster Hunt, the second part of it here, there were the Tarpon, which them took a lot of bait. That was the one mission that will be tough for some people if you haven't got the DLC or a lot of bait coins. That is one that is going to be tough because you're going to really have to get a lot of pumpkins in that. The other ones were okay, but this one was pretty tough. Same with this. You just got to get the lures, pretty straightforward. This mission I didn't care for a whole lot, personally, um, because it was kind of just slow. It wasn't challenging. It wasn't anything. It just took a lot of time. And then this was one of the easiest missions. This took me all of 3 minutes. If you guys saw the video, from my first to my last fish, I knew it. I went in there with the ground bait. I knew kind of what to do, and it took 3 minutes. So it was pretty easy. And the curse carp, this is an interesting one for me. This is my favorite mission I've ever done in the game. I'm not normally a huge carp person, uh, but the mechanics behind this one with the different lakes and the clouds going away, and it didn't take a lot of the baits because you weren't going to catch like a mere ghost carp on, let's say, mistletoe. You're going to catch a ghost carp on it, or maybe a possibly a regular carp, but they didn't overlap it and didn't waste a lot of your stuff, and it was cool and different. So this is probably my favorite one. So we had, a couple, and then we had this one, which was really cool to me. It took a while. It wasn't super easy, but it wasn't overly challenging, and it was a lot of fun. So, like, I really liked the missions as a whole. There was a lot of them. As you can see, there was, 10 to 20 missions, which was really cool for us to have a new event, to have that much stuff. Plus I believe there's 15 to 20 fish in this one. I don't know perfectly on that. And now let's take a look at the items here, folks. Now, some of these, like the bass, this thing, we'll take a look at real quick, and then I'll actually go take you to the lake and we'll talk about it real quick. So interesting, this is like the X cast in the shop, guys. So if you don't know, it is similar to this. It is not the same, however, as the X cast. This one's a lot shorter, and this one throws a lot heavier stuff. The closest one, I guess, it kind of be like this, but with the weight of this one. With that being said, though, this is a lot shorter pull, which you guys know. The shorter the pole is, generally doesn't cast very far, and I will show that here in a little bit. But interestingly, it has a real slow recovery, which gives this pole kind of a unique fit. Not a lot of poles this high up have that slow of a recovery. In fact, there's none that I can think of that have that slow a recovery outside of the one that same one kind of that it is like. And with the wide range that it has from basically a half to 2 ounces or 56 grams is for our metric friends. This actually is a wide range. The only downside to it is it doesn't cast super far. But this, because you're in a boat, is a very good pull for Michigan. And a lot of everything that you throw at Michigan is in this weight category for muskie and pike and that. So if you do get it, that is very good. So the other items here before we go to the lake and use that caster is there was a couple bobbers that are pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to get into that. The Hell's Bells ringing thing, that's like a normal bell for your thing, but the lures here we'll get into quickly. The jerk bait at first glance seems to be okay. And there it is right there. It is I believe, 42 gram ADOT for metric friends. And the walker is, the walkers, where are they? They are down up here. Go down and then up. Um, these, this one is actually just a big walker, which is interesting in that it is kind of gives you another option for a big walker, which is kind of cool. And the Demon Frog Popper, which is really cool because we only have, I believe, one 5.0 walker. And this isn't a frog popper, this is a frog walker. So this is more like this one here, not like the frog poppers. This is a walker itself. So that is really cool because we did have a lot of options at that range. And for the baits are all pretty much self-explanatory. The fish they catch, and the ground baits, obviously, you could get at Lone Star with the cats. They don't seem to work much on other fish. I did try it. And you can't mix them with other mixes. For example, over here, the Viagra mix that we use for the carp tournament, you can see that we cannot actually put in. Um, we gotta go to the other one here. We gotta go to the bases, and you will see that we can't actually put in these new ones here, guys. So they're really not helpful for baits after this event, although they are worth keeping if you didn't finish it. Now, real quickly, Some of the items that were in this event, the oak trunk, as you will see, I will be actually getting rid of this. It does not help me. It is cool, but 66 lines and components, it does actually give some bait coins. So you guys can see this. The Halloween hat. For you guys that don't have a lot of hats, this is really good and it's very unique. It does have a actual flashlight right on the hat. It does have a slight orange glow, but it does hold 4 tackles, which is pretty good in the game. The Patty's hat and the George Washington hat are the only other two that hold more than that. So being at that tier 4 with a flashlight is really cool, but the color of the light has made me not want to keep it. So I am getting rid of it. And the 2 horned stand here, I have a 4, so I'm not going to keep that as well. And it doesn't have a bite alarm, which isn't the end of the world. And I believe that is it for the event. Other than the thing, we're going to go, and I'm going to go show you guys the uh, Basscaster here. So here is the new Baitcaster with the setup that I would use with it. And you can actually max drag it this way, which is really cool. And so this will cast 170 if you put a 2-ounce, 56-gram flat spoon on it. So it doesn't cast very far. And when you go to the bottom end of it, right here, as we see the 5 ace, will go out. This is a really cool looking pole. I will give it that. When you cast out basically full power, which we did in the last video, it is 128 feet. So it'd be like 30 or 35 yards or meters. Not, it doesn't cast very far, guys. That's one really bad downside to this pole. I love everything about it besides that. And I actually will be keeping this pole, believe it or not. It is very unique in its deal. It is a perfect pole for Michigan, and it does look pretty cool. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of this event down in the comments. And also, too, if you guys are watching this and you guys want to have a Halloween discussion, right after this video comes out, I will be doing a live stream right here on YouTube, so you guys can join in and talk about the event or ask questions if you need help. Anyway, hopefully you guys have an amazing day. I'll see you next time, folks.